Well, hey there, this is Joe Robinson, and in this video I want to talk about my top 5 tips for playing the electric guitar. I've been playing electric guitar, since I was probably 11 years old. I started on acoustic first. I had a little gut string, nylon string guitar, and played that until the fingerboard was just about wore off it. And then I got like a Strat and started playing electric guitar a lot. And so I've had a journey over a good number of years with this instrument, and I've learned some things, and I've noticed some things in players who are just starting out. And I remember, the things that I struggled with and got the most value from figuring out, overcoming, and learning. So I wanted to share those with you now. And if you enjoy this video, you might enjoy the content on my TrueFire channel. The TrueFire channel is called Guitar Synergy, and there's lots of videos on there, including a lick of the week series that I just started, in which every Saturday morning I post a new lick. So head over there and check that out if you're interested. The first tip I'm going to offer is working on your vibrato. Now, to me, the thing that separates a really expressive player from someone who, doesn't really have command of their instrument is having a really nice vibrato. So one thing I would suggest is taking a note, for example, this F note on the 10th fret of the G string, and just really work on extracting every bit of tone you can from it using vibrato. Use different fingers. And classical players use more of a side-to-side vibrato. And some people use this kind of circular vibrato, like Steve Vai does that. But I'm kind of focusing on like the blues vibrato here, like B.B. King, or Clapton, Eric Johnson. You just kind of really loosely, I guess pivoting at the wrist. But I used to practice playing one note for an hour, which was something I read in a Steve Vai article that he did that, so I thought I'll give it a shot. And actually is really useful, working on going really slow to quite fast and everywhere in between. So once you get that down, work on bending with vibrato. It's tricky to get the bending to be, really smooth and consistent. It takes some strength and it takes some practice, but it's really worth it, I think. Because if you're just bending, it just sounds kind of, like it's going nowhere. It doesn't have a purpose. But if you bend with, it sounds like that note has, is saying something. So anyway, vibrato I think is really important. The next tip is learning the fingerboard. Now, to me, you have to know all the notes on the fingerboard, and you have to be able to play the basic scales and chords. And to me, a basic scale is like A major, for example. So playing A major in that position, most people can probably do, but playing it all over the neck. is something that a lot of people, don't learn how to do, and I think that's a really important thing. I wouldn't feel comfortable trying to improvise if I didn't know how to play, just that basic scale. Now, that A major scale is the same as the F sharp natural minor. And if you want to play the B flat major scale, you just move up a half step. So once you learn kind of like the main major scale that you're going to learn, your hands will kind of memorize, you know, those little shapes, learn some arpeggios too. You know, like I said, learn the basic chords, major 7, major 7, 7, minor 9, half diminished. You know, learn some jazz standards to learn more chords. But yeah, just the major scale, knowing the fingerboard all up and down the neck, I think that's a really important thing. Next is develop your inner metronome. Now, you know, I think a lot of electric guitarists, you know, if you play in a band or you don't play solo very often, like I play acoustic guitar solo a lot, so having good timing is just essential if you're going to be playing fingerstyle pieces, for example. But I think it's really important with electric guitar. It can be really beneficial to work on your inner metronome. So I would suggest, you know, playing rhythm guitar a lot, really working on your rhythm playing. Recording a lot really helps because, you know, even if you're recording to a drum machine, getting the song to be in the pocket, it's really difficult, but that's absolutely where it's at. Yeah, working with great drummers is the ultimate. I've learned so much from working with really great drummers, and in the studios here in Nashville too, where I live. Working with a metronome, of course, is really helpful, as well as doing drum rudiments. I have a practice pad back there, and I'll play drum rudiments, which really helps just reinforce kind of, you know, the sense of time, and like I said, the internal metronome, the kind of just the pulse that's going when you're playing something, no matter what it is. So my foot's tapping away and I'm just, you know, really locked into the groove. Next is to hone your touch. Now listen to great players like Mark Knopfler or Jeff Beck. They have a great touch. And, you know, I think playing acoustic guitar can really help you have a nice touch, but I think just playing really nice melodies, you know, learning songs like it's a kind of fingerstyle song, but learning songs like Mr. Sandman, and basically anything with a nice melody will really help you to, you know, be able to play with a nice touch. You know, touch is where tone comes from. Tone is not the guitar, although this is a cool guitar. This is a new guitar for me. It's Ernie Ball Valentine guitar, Music Man Valentine guitar. You know, it's not equipment. It's in the hands, it's in the touch, the way you pull all the tone out of the strings. So that's something to really work on every time you play the instrument, in my opinion. And the last tip is maybe a little bit controversial, but I think you should use a real fucking amp. I hate Kempers, I hate pods, I hate Axe FX, Fractal, all that stuff. You will never hear me playing through that, you know, those amps. They don't just react like a real amplifier. You know, I'd be quite happy just playing through like a Fender Pro Junior, which is like a $300 amp, And I understand, you know, if you live in an apartment and you want to practice at night, it can be really useful to have, you know, a practice set up with, you know, a pod or whatever. But, you know, I see people bring those Kempers on stage and, you know, put it next to a Fender Bassman, and it's like, good luck, mate. So I think, you know, the relationship between a guitar and an amp is a magical thing. And, you know, the one thing that I've heard about Kempers that, you know, makes me think twice is that Mark Knopfler uses them live. I'm not sure if that's true or how much he uses them live. I'll have to ask someone who works with him. But that being said, you know, I guess if you're playing in such a huge venue that, you know, it's quite a high production sound. There's like, you know, 100 channels to the desk. I don't know. There's probably times and places to use it, but for me, I just can't stand them. I think they don't react like a real amplifier. And I see them becoming so popular, and a lot of, you know, guitarists coming up these days, you know, just play through these, you know, amp simulators. Just get a real amp. I'm using a 65 Champ at the moment. It's like, I think it's 5 watts. Is that A major again? So anyway, I think using a real amp is a tip I'd like to offer for whatever it's worth. So anyway, I hope this video has been interesting to you all. Like I said, check out my True Fire channel, Guitar Synergy. There's lots of videos on there at the moment. And I'm enjoying creating a lot of content for it. I also have a course called Joe's 12, in which I interviewed a lot of my mentors, including great electric guitar players like Eric Johnson, Robin Ford, Steve Vai, John Jorgensen. I interviewed Tommy Emmanuel, Joe Glazer, the master luthier here in Nashville, you know, Grammy Award-winning songwriter Rodney Crowell and songwriters Rodney Crowell and Gary Nicholson. It's just tons of great people. So check that out, joes12.com. And thanks for watching this video.